God's work.
There are women and children in there.
You will be king. The throne is my birthright! Summon my baby brother.
Father chose you because he knows you're strong. You have to help us.
In the Silver Mountains, there's said to be bandits who despise your brother and his men.
I will have what is mine.
How'd you find me, lad?
You were his friend.
We fought alongside one another.
You're the outlaw they call the White Ghost.
I am the White Ghost.
If we escape my brother, I will be the king. I will give you a reward.
How old are you? 10?
14!
If you save this boy, God will forgive you.
Men cannot know God's will, and when they pretend to, it ends in blood.
That I'll drink to.
Wow, if you need Hayden Christensen to rescue you, you're really in bad shape. And Nicolas Cage is back up? This isn't quite the auspicious beginning I'd hoped for true China-Hollywood collaborations. This is actually, though, made out of Canada, but still, as you can see, it is one of the beginnings, the first films to come out that's really trying to incorporate both elements for Chinese and American audiences, or Western and Eastern audiences. And I'm very excited about that, as you know from my coverage of it regularly here on this channel. But again, not the kind of quality film that's going to get this off to a great start. We'll see if this just benefits from being one of the first. It's actually going to open over in China first in September and won't hit here in the States until February, where movies go to die. Like this one. It does look like a February release. And I feel kind of bad for Nicolas Cage. This is the second film in about a week where you're really seeing him take not just paycheck gigs, but like desperate paycheck gigs. Like usually a paycheck gig is you're like, well, this looks like it's going to make a lot of money and get a lot of attention, but it's really beneath you as your caliber as an actor. Which I guess when you think of it is kind of a snobby thing to say. You know, I don't regard Meet the Fockers as a paycheck gig for Robert De Niro because it's a beloved film that made a lot of money and was really quite amusing. But then, you know, Rocky and Bullwinkle I think is more of a paycheck gig where you're like, really? And even I'm like, really? And I have a lot of respect for mainstream work, as you know. But Rocky and Bullwinkle, you know, you could still even there be like, well, hey, it's Rocky and Bullwinkle. In some respect, they're iconic characters, iconic animated characters. But with a movie like this, and you know, you're like, well, Nicolas Cage is like, well, who else is in it? And they're like, well, Hayden Christensen. And he's like, oh, God. And you're just like, well, Nicolas Cage, you kind of got here yourself. You have no one to blame but yourself. So I guess maybe he's trying to dig out of the hole that he put himself in, but I just don't know if he's going to get anywhere with movies like Left Behind and this one, Outcast. But the reason I'm reviewing it is because not only do I like the fact that it's a mixture of, you know, Eastern and Western aspects for a film, and I'm very excited to see movies go in this direction, but it looks not horrible to me, actually. It looks like something that I might watch at least on demand. You know, you're like, I mean, it looks better than 47 Ronin, which I still to this day have not been able to make myself watch. Even though it looked like it had some interesting visuals, I was like, that just looks like it's going to be painful to sit through because the story and the acting looks just so horrible. But with this, I was like, it looks not great, but it might be one of those guilty pleasures where, you know, you're talking to people and they're like, you saw Outcast? And the person's like, it's not that bad. And you're like, really? And they're like, no, seriously, you should watch it. And then you're bored out of your mind and you're like, okay, I'll watch Outcast. And you're like, you know what? It wasn't horrible. So we'll see how it actually performs. I think it will probably, I'd be very curious to see how it performs in China, but I think here in the West, it's going to probably be one of those movies that thrives on demand and such. And also, I think, Seventh Son, when does that come out? That might come out in January, but, both those are kind of like these medieval movies with these actors, and you're like, this seemed like maybe it was going to be cool, at least with Seventh Son, but it ended up not being cool and just thrown to the wolves, or... We'll see. But I'm curious to what you guys think of this trailer. Do you have any hope for it whatsoever? What do you think of the trajectory of Nicolas Cage's career at the moment? Do you think he has any hope of recovering? Do you think that he's working his way back, or do you think that he's just digging himself deeper in? And do you like this idea of how we're getting more and more films that truly are something that are made for both Eastern and Western audiences? Do you think we can coexist in the movies? Write your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for tuning into my review, and you can check out some more episodes right now.